So here's my social media brands. I have 2 million on TikTok, 650,000 on Instagram, 550 on Facebook, 95 on Threads, 100K on YouTube, and 55 on X. So here's how I started with ideas, because a lot of people say, how do you come up with ideas to post about? So when I started, I unintentionally did the post, analyze, post system. Okay. So that was just posting a ton of content, looking back after a certain period of time and seeing what content did well, and then posting more of that. It takes a lot of volume, but I would go back every 10 or 15 videos and I would go back and look at what performed better than the other videos. I remember specifically looking back and that video's got 40 views. That video's got 80 views. That video's got 50 views. That video's got 120 views. That video's got 60 views. All right. So what was that 120 view video? Was it the content? Was it the song in the background? Was it how I delivered it? Was it the editing? Like what was it? And obviously that's hard to do with 5 videos. That's hard to do if you're posting once a week. It's going to take months for you to get enough data. So this does require volume, but if you're willing to set some time aside and put out some content, you got to go back and look at what did well, because you're getting immediate feedback from the audience that you want to reach. And now I have this thing called the hub and spoke. Now that I have the content that I know will at least perform decently well, I have that to fall back on. Like I have certain videos like I'm in $30 million worth of debt. That is a concept that I've discovered does well via posting and analyzing and posting. So now I know that if I have a video that says I'm in $30 million worth of debt, whether it's me talking to the camera or walking down the stairs with one shoe on, not talking, or whether it's a carousel post or whatever it is, having that concept I know will do well for the most part. So again, you can't, you're not going to guess what's going to do well. I can't even guess what's going to do well still after all the time I spend on social media. So you have to do the first part, which sucks. Like anything else, it's hard at the beginning, easy at the end. Everybody that's on here on DealMachine trying to get deals, I promise it gets easier. Real estate's one of those things where it's hard now, easy later. That's what, this is as well. It's hard to get all that content out there and it's nerve-wracking. And I did hundreds of videos with less than 100 views and live in front of 4 people and all of these things, but it just takes time. And now I have the luxury of the hub and spoke where I'm able to have my hubs. I'm in $30 million worth of debt. This is how much rent I collect. The financial system is broken. This is why 401ks are scams. Whatever the content I put out there, I know is going to do well and I can deliver them in different avenues. Like I said, walking down the stairs, talking head style, interviewing somebody, doing a cute little back and forth skit, whatever the deliverable is, I know the concepts work well. So here's how I come up with my ideas. I use AI. I ask ChatGPT and Grok. I don't say, give me an idea, because everybody does that. I say, look at the latest Google trends as it pertains to real estate investing or gurus or what's going on in the government that, has to do with real estate. It used to take hours or at least, dozens of minutes, which we all have few of those during the day, free to come up with ideas and do research. And well, what is the interest rate doing right now? And how does that compare back to 1990 and trying to go find the Fed's funds rate charts and all of that stuff. Now I just ask Chad or Grok, hey, what are people searching? What's some things that they're talking about? Oh yeah, well, what was the interest rate in 1995 versus now? Okay, well, so you can just ask some questions and you can get some credibility behind your post, behind your content, because most people just say whatever they're saying. But if you have actual like charts or stats or, certain types of citations behind what you're saying, it rightfully so just builds in credibility. Other people's content, this is a huge one. I look at other people's content that does well and I get an idea of my spin on it. I never copy anybody's content exactly. I have people do that to mine all the time. And it doesn't work for them because it's not them and it's not authentic and it's not real. There's something about authenticity that cuts through the AI, it cuts through the bull crap that a lot of people post on social media. So if somebody else does a post about how, Trump's policies may do this, then that did well. Well, I'm going to do something on a different policy or just give my thoughts or opinions on that policy. So whatever other people are posting about, take that idea, that concept, and make it your own. I talk about what I'm actually doing during the day. Oddly enough, people are interested in what you're doing during the day. Social media is become a place where a lot of people live online, I understand that, but they still want connectivity. They still want to know you're a real person. And I don't do this enough. I don't talk about my personal life enough, so I don't have the connection I could have with my audience. Part of that's intentional, but there's people that are posting about every little personal thing they're going through, and that does build connectivity. And then a huge one for me is comments and questions. If people comment something on my videos multiple times, well, that's something that's on their mind. They're watching my video. That's my target audience. It's somebody that's watching my videos and spending the time to comment on it. So that's obviously what other people are thinking. So I come up with video ideas from those comments. Or people asking questions, I come up with video ideas from those, or DMs. It's just real life on the streets information that is hard to replicate any other way. All right, so this is how the algorithm actually works. You are the algorithm. This is one of my favorite things that people talk about on social media that don't know what they're talking about, is they think there's an algorithm. They think there's some algorithm to hack. They think if I do a certain post a certain way, the algorithm is going to take off with it. That's not how it works. If it did, AI is solving an insane amount of things and will over the next few years. It hasn't figured out how to constantly make viral posts because there's no algorithm. The algorithm is you, your specific algorithm. Matt Camp has his own algorithm within what he views, what he sees, what he likes, what he shares. It's his exact algorithm. Nobody has that algorithm. Ryan Hewitt has his own algorithm. My man Robert Brodsky has his own algorithm. Everybody has their own algorithm, and everybody has certain things that they're interested at certain times. That's why you see some people blow up and then slow down and blow up and slow down. It's ever changing. The world's changing. Certain things are getting thrown at you. So there's nothing to hack. The algorithm is specific person to person. So you just have to do your best to understand that. Social media now is content based rather than creator based. It used to be creator based back in the teens, 2015 to 2020. Social media was based on the creator. You had to have followers to get views. You got followers, you got views. It's TikTok flipped it on its head. That's why everybody says there's you being TikTok famous, which means you're not really famous, or going viral right away on your fourth or fifth post. It's because TikTok changed how they push stuff, how they push your content and push your reach out, to base it specifically on that one singular post and not on past posts and not on the actual followers that you have. That's why my 10th video on TikTok got 100,000 views. And at the time I was getting hundreds of views. So that was wild because they put all of the weight on the actual performance and engagement of specific videos. So it's cool. You can get views pretty quickly, but the negative side of it is there's less connectivity. Again, you could follow somebody on TikTok, and you probably do, that you haven't seen their posts in weeks or months. That's because they haven't put out viral content, that the algorithm hasn't put it out there. So that's why it's you can follow somebody on pretty much all platforms now and not always see their content. And then what you need to go viral is what you need to get followers is you need the swelling effect, which is a weird name. All of these names I've made up, by the way. The post analyzed post, hub and spoke, it's all just made up. The same with the swelling effect. This is how like the reach system works. You can call it the algorithm if you want, but there's no way to hack it. It's the reach system. So what you do is Instagram, whatever it is going to push your content to 100 people, and it's looking for something specific. I don't know what it is, and it probably changes. They're looking for a certain amount of watch time on that post, a certain amount of shares, a certain amount of views, and a certain amount of likes. And then if it hits that metric, they're going to push it to 500 people. And they're looking for similar type of metrics, then 5,000, then 50,000, and then 500,000. And then boom, it stops reaching those metrics because you reach people that aren't maybe exactly interested in your niche. And then it slows down and stops being pushed. So that's what they're doing. They're constantly testing it against certain engagement and other videos of similar engagement to see how far they're going to push it. So if you're wanting to reach people that don't see your stuff every day, you're going to have to get the virality that's needed. And then the competition is fierce. This is not something to take lightly. I spend a lot of time on social media every day, and the fact that these smartphones are going to be engraved in our glasses and probably our wrists one day, we're in a very, very competitive space. Like on my phone, I'm competing with Gary Vee, Alex Hormozy, Fox News, whatever Trump is posting, whatever Apple News is posting. People on their phones are getting notifications at the top nonstop. I'm not competing just against Ryan Pineda to post stuff, right? Because he talks about what I talk about and has a course like I do. I'm competing with the entire world of information because everybody lives on their phones every day. So it's really, really tough. You're not just, they're in the app and they get a notification from somebody else. You're competing with their family, their kids, their parents, their wives, their husbands, texting them. It's just a very, very competitive space to be in, but it obviously has a ton of benefits. So what makes a post go viral, in my opinion, is the hook. Number one, edits, not super important, and then timing. I'm going to break all those out. So here is some viral posts that I have. I have a couple hundred videos that I deem viral, which is is over 1 million views. But you can see this one on TikTok. This one got 7.2 million views, 463,000 likes. This one I want to highlight. So this one's on Instagram. This one got 5.2 million views. It's a minute 25 video, but this video right here has like 14 years of consecutive watch time. That's how much it's been viewed. So that's the cool part about this short form content. It's crazy how much time people can see staring at your face by creating a social media post. All right, so hooks. This is the most important thing by far. It's the #1 factor in success. You have to get their attention within 2 seconds. It's really, really hard to do, but if you do, and they watch for 3 seconds, almost half of people will watch at least 30 seconds, if that makes sense. So you got to get their attention right away. They're scrolling 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, they're gone. That's 99% of what I post and what most people post. But if you get 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, their thumb tends to go down and they tend to watch not all of them, but around half of them for 30 seconds. So that's how important hooks are to get their attention. So let's talk about hooks. So crazy stat or fact, I'm in $30 million worth of debt. I mentioned that one several times. That's a hook that does well. It reaches a core audience that understands I'm in real estate. But if somebody, when the swelling effect hits and we reach to the 500,000 million mark where people maybe aren't following me that see it and maybe don't even care about real estate, that's going to get their attention because they're thinking he's an idiot and they want to see, is that real or is that true or what the heck am I talking about? So that's a huge part of it. Controversial. Cash is trash. Is something, again, they make it your own. But a great controversial one that I've done a couple times, and that was Michael Jordan's not the best basketball player ever. I did that last year, a little less than a year ago. That video got 16,000 people commenting and fighting in the comments about LeBron and Jordan. And it's just a super weird, kind of innocent, but gets people pissed topic that I just kind of stumbled upon that I posted a couple times since then, and people get mad. I get so much hate and so many unfollows by saying that. It is wild. But it hits a nerve with people and it gets them commenting. And depending on the platform, when you're commenting or reading other people's comments, the video is playing in the background. It increases your playtime. All right. There you go. 16,000 comments. Hooks. So breaking news, the Fed just did this. Relatable pain points. No one wants to work till they're 65. And then simple movement. So if you're like doing this as the video starts, it helps a little bit. You don't want to overdo it, but simple movement helps kind of with the pattern interrupt. Here's a video that I don't want to work for the next 40 to 50 years. That's a relatable pain point for everybody watching. And that's why that video got 517,000 likes and 4 million views and 13,000 shares, because people can relate to it. There's the stats right there on it. All right, so edits. This one should not scare you. It might, but it shouldn't. It's the simpler, the better. People overdo editing all the time. If you would tell me, should I do max editing or no editing, I'm going to tell you no editing as far as like captions or B-roll or music. Less is more when it comes to especially educational content. You're teaching them. They're scrolling between between Nate Bargatze and then a sports take and then this dancing and that dancing and whatever, and then they see you and you're probably trying to educate them in some way, entertain them as well, but educate them. They don't want to, they're not there to learn, most likely. So you can't teach them too much. So you have to just keep it simple and keep their flow of scrolling and being somewhat entertained. And you can totally screw that up by having B-roll and sounds and flash and, scene changes too often and all this stuff going on too much. So what I do is I just, not every time even, but a good rule of thumb is just change scenes every few seconds. I'm in $30 million worth of debt. All right, just here. That debt cost me 150 grand a month in mortgage payments. All right, then I will be walking this time. So just every few sentences, just switch scenes. CapCut ties it together and does it for you. You don't have to edit it much. So simpler the better, not many effects, and understated and authentic is what works. Timing, keep it under a minute if possible. The quicker the better. If you can take a 5-minute concept and teach it to somebody in 90 seconds or 45 seconds, you will do very, very well. In my opinion, the sweet spot's at 30 to 45. It's long enough that the apps will push it. Because if you do a 5-second video, people do this all the time, you're going to get 100% watch time. But you're only on there for 5 seconds. If I do a 30-second video and I get 50% watch time, they're on there for 15 seconds. That's good. That's very, very good. That's triple what that 5-second video is. So that's going to get pushed way more than that 5-second video. On the other hand, if you make it too long, if you make it's a 3-minute video and they watch for 15 seconds, that's not good, because that means they're not staying around for it. So that sweet spot is, to me, and never over 3 minutes. On Instagram and on YouTube, if you're doing YouTube Shorts, it doesn't even count as a short form video. It goes to the long form, reach angle. Cool. I'm using AI for ideation. I have a whole chat trained. My tweet style, like for example, it's been months now, but at the beginning, I'm like, I want this chat to be for my tweets. Here's my X. Here's my old ones that have done well. I want you to keep these as short as possible. Alex Hormozy style. Use Apple Power Words. Use alliteration where possible, and try to make these conversations starting and very opinionated. And now I'll be driving and I'll be like, I want to do a tweet on why 401ks are scams. They keep your money. They don't let you touch it. They pay fees on it, and you still pay taxes at the end. Real estate's better. And then boom, it will take that and just make it how I want it to be. It's not like Alex Hormozy. It's just an example of, kind of how I set the parameters. So AI is something you can use for that.
Thanks for listening to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.